All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the feedback there. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. The time is now 7 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Staff, will you conduct a roll call to establish that we do have a quorum present?
Yes. Commissioner Parker,
Present.
Commissioner James,
Present.
Chairman Jones,
Present?
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Eccles.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If everyone here would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Commissioners, I will now entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda, which were provided to everyone and the public for this evening.
Commissioner Eccles, I make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda for tonight.
I now have a motion and need a second.
Commission. Go ahead.
Commissioner Parker, second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition say nay. The motion carries. Can we get, there's a little feedback. I don't know if it's me or, okay, he's working on it. That's fine. Now, Commissioners, I trust you reviewed all of the meeting minutes. If there are no questions, yes.
Just one point of clarity, there is an error on the meeting minutes. It was a motion to continue the item to the next meeting. So just wanted to make sure that everybody was clear about that part.
Yes, the safeguard landfill management. Yeah, we're clear on that.
Okay.
And we'll address that at the end of this meeting to move it
Well, it
forward.
was for the previous item, the use permit for racetrack. In the meeting minutes that were posted, I just want to make sure everybody's clear about that. There was a slight error. It was a motion to continue the item to the next regular meeting.
Okay, got it. Thank you. So from that perspective, so everybody's clear on that, Commissioners? Okay. If there are no questions or discussions, thank you for the comment. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the regular minutes with the notation that was just mentioned. Do I have a motion?
Commissioner James, I motion that we approve the minutes from the March 5th, 2024 meeting.
Commissioner Smith, second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second, so I'll call it to vote. All those in favor of this motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition say nay. The motion carries. All right. Public comments. So I will now open the period for public comments. Please reserve your comments related to a specific agenda item that's on the agenda when I call for comments on them. So this is just general public comments. Comments to the Planning and Zoning Commission should be limited to no more than 2 minutes. Groups wishing to address an issue should select 1 or 2 spokespersons. The time allowed for all issues shall not exceed a total of 15 minutes. Issues raised at this time are generally referred to the Director of Planning and Zoning for review. Responses shall be provided at a later date. Again, this is opening the period for public comments related to other items. If you have public comments related to the agenda items that we're going to cover, save it for that time. If there's anybody that wishes to speak during the general public comments. Okay, nobody. All right, we will now close the public comment aspect. All right, old business. Use permit. The applicant is Justin, apologize if I mispronounce it, Giambavo, is that correct? All right, that was close. Racetrack Incorporated. So staff, I'll now ask you to present the staff analysis.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, we'll be reviewing the request for a use permit for racetrack. Thank you, Michael. Okay, here we go. Thank you. All right, so location is 0 Fairburn Industrial Boulevard. It's on the southeast corner of the intersection of Fairburn Industrial Boulevard and Howell Avenue. The site is currently zoned M2, which is heavy industrial, and is in the Highway 74 overlay district. The site is approximately 16.97 acres. This is what the site looks like today. They have included an accurate, up-to-date, and certified survey for your review. The applicant is proposing to be able to have a truck stop on their site. There are some considerations that we have to take into account when reviewing this request. Staff finds that the proposed use is consistent with the 2040 comprehensive plan. The site is in the office industrial area, and the appropriate use is industrial. The appropriate zoning district in the office industrial area includes M2. Staff finds that the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding land uses and zoning. The surrounding land uses are office and industrial and town center mixed use. Truck stops / terminals are an appropriate land use in office and industrial. The surrounding zoning districts are M2. Truck stops and terminals are permitted use listed in M2. The proposed use does not violate any local, state, and/or federal statutes, ordinances, or regulations governing land development. The applicant will be required to comply with all City of Fairburn regulations. Vehicular and pedestrian traffic flow should not be affected along Fairburn Industrial Boulevard or Howell Avenue. Traffic improvements are proposed for both Fairburn Industrial Boulevard and Howell Avenue. A traffic impact study was not required as the use did not pass the threshold of 175,000 square feet of development of commercial use or for 500,000 square feet of development of industrial use. Off-street parking is located on the site, and there are a total of 30 parking spaces. There are 2 accessible parking spaces. There are open spaces on the south and west ends of the site. The site has a total of 33% of open space, 30% is required. Screening will be installed around any equipment in the dumpsters. The truck stop will operate 24 hours a day, Sunday through Saturday. Outdoor lighting, whether it's building, wall-mounted, or freestanding, will be directed downward and shielded from adjacent properties, as well as Fairburn Industrial Boulevard and Howell Avenue. And finally, there will be two lane access points, which will provide ingress and egress to the site from Fairburn Industrial Boulevard and Howell Avenue. Staff recommends approval of the use permit with the condition that the applicant must adhere to the supplemental regulations on truck terminals / truck stops per the zoning ordinance, Chapter 80 zoning, Article 4 administrative permits and use permits, Section 80-239 truck terminals / truck stops. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will now entertain questions for staff regarding this request from my fellow commissioners.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
I'd like to ask, I think I saw it somewhere, but will there be any overnight parking?
There should not be any overnight parking per the supplemental regulations.
Also, the 2 lanes, that will be, well, the 2 entrance
Yes,
and exit.
yes.
What is the additional that is going to be added for the pedestrians?
Are you speaking to sidewalks?
It says it's going to provide enjoyment or something, the wording was. Was it at? What exactly is going to be, is there going to be a sidewalk?
Yes, per the regulations for the Highway 74 overlay district, sidewalks will be provided.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
So let me think I heard this correct. She asked that it's going to be an overnight parking. This is a truck stop?
For the purposes and how our zoning ordinance is written, yes, this is a truck stop.
But do you know that on the truck stop, that they have overnight parking?
At
Are
truck,
you aware of that?
yes, I'm aware of that.
And you're saying it's not gonna have overnight parking?
It's not supposed to have overnight parking.
Our definition for a truck stop includes gas stations that also provide fuel, convenience. It's how our ordinance defines it, but we also have supplemental regulations that does not permit what you would define as a traditional truck stop that would have overnight parking. That's not the case with this request.
Okay, so you're sure?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so just a qualifying then question, staff, is, right, I'm familiar with racetrack, gas station convenience stores, right? So this is not a variance. It's not a racetrack plus a 18-wheeler overnight truck stop with diesel, chrome polishing, truck wash type stuff. It's a traditional racetrack convenience store gas station, but for our zoning language, it's called a truck stop. Is that a correct assessment?
It is a correct assessment, but there will also be some diesel pumps as well.
Correct, right. But are those diesel pumps for diesel personal vehicles, lawn equipment, right, things like that? Or are they in such a way that, 18-wheelers, right, will be there? Because we don't see 18-wheelers at, say, a QT or a competing, right, unless it is, one of those Flying J's or something like that. So is it equipped for 18-wheelers, or is it more for personal vehicles?
It's for personal vehicles, and it is equipped for 18-wheelers per the site plan.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff regarding this request? Okay. No questions for staff. So I'm now going to entertain a motion, and I'll need a second to open the public comment period.
Will there be questions for the applicants?
Well, I guess we can have, go ahead.
Point of order, Chair. This isn't a public hearing.
Oh, okay.
So this is just regular,
Okay.
yeah, just a motion for recommendation.
Okay, all right, no problem. We can,
When you're ready to get to that point.
okay.
Public, questions for the applicant?
Yeah, if the applicant wants to come forward then, that'd be great.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Harold Buckley. I'm with Wilson, Brock, and Irby, 2849 Paces Ferry Road in Atlanta. I am here before you this evening representing Racetrack, which is pursuing, as you've heard, a commercial development on this property. I want to talk about the use a little bit because referring to this development as a truck stop doesn't accurately reflect what it is. So to talk about the specific retail market that we're proposing, that market encompasses a little more than 6,000 square feet. That's much larger than what you would think of as a stereotypical convenience store. As a matter of fact, if you look at the average size for a CVS drugstore, that average size range runs from 8,000 square feet to 13,000 square feet. So this retail market that we're proposing is just slightly smaller than a small CVS, and it's going to carry somewhere north of 4,000 individual merchandise inventory items. So this is really a retail market with fuel pumps attached to it. And the reason I say that is that, the range of inventory and services that are available here, again, are not what you would think of when you think of a stereotypical convenience store. We have a wide selection of fresh foods, fruits and vegetables, hot food that is prepared there. For example, you could buy pizza by the slice or by the whole pie here. And you can actually go to Racetrack's website, and on a lot of these stores, because of their nature, you can order from them online. You can order to have your items ready for you to come express pick up. So this is really a retail market in every sense of the word. Another distinction is that we have free Wi-Fi in our stores. We have customer seating so that they can enjoy the food selections that we are talking about. Racetrack's more than a gas station mentality is evident in its building design. What you can see here on these elevations are all four sides of our proposed store. This would be the front. And what you see are contrasting colors of brick as the building materials with these colorful red and blue metal accents for architectural interest. You also have a really tall building when you're talking about something like a convenience store. To the top of the parapet, this building to this point is about 25 feet tall. That's as tall as a two-story building. And the reason it's been designed that way is to provide more of a physical presence, more of an aesthetic presence, to give this more heft visually. You also have articulated building facades, and by articulated I mean it's not just a flat blank wall, it offsets. And you also have variated parapet heights, which is also intended to provide a higher architectural quality than what you would think of from, for example, some other businesses in the industry that don't put this level of care and detail in their design. You also have this very large glass element here because you have the windows and the doors, but you also have these transoms, thank you, these clear stories that not only enhance visibility into the store, but it also allows natural light. Because of the height of the building, the ceilings are taller. So it really does present as more of a community market than a convenience store. Now, that brings me to the first thing I said, which is that this is not a truck stop. Why are we here if we're not a truck stop? Well, our property is zoned M2, heavy industrial, and those regulations require truck stops to get a special use permit. The city also referred our application over to the Atlanta Regional Commission because the ARC also reviews truck stops of a certain size. And we have an email from ARC that we shared with the city that said that they don't look at this as a truck stop because their regulatory language says to be a truck stop, you have to be primarily geared towards serving trucks. Well, this is our site plan. We have 14 regular pumps in the front that you would see at every racetrack everywhere. We have 5 diesel pumps in the back. Those 5 diesel pumps are 100% of the reason why we're here before you today. We could literally take those pumps off the back and build the exact same facility, and we wouldn't need a special use permit. That is what is being deemed to be a truck stop, and I believe it's the combination of the diesel pumps being there and being really close to the highway. Being really close to the highway is great for us because we capture pass-by traffic and we don't generate more traffic for the community. We don't think we're a truck stop. We filed our application under protest because, quite frankly, that's the path of least resistance. The planning staff is recommending approval. We're fine with the condition that they're recommending. And we actually do have community support because down the street from us is a business called Black Jack Paving at 98 Howell Avenue. That business is owned by Brad Kaufman. He attended our public participation meeting, and he said, I think this is great because my landscaping equipment, I can fuel that there. Are we configured for 18-wheelers? Absolutely. Physically, they can come in there. But our business is geared toward, or at least for this type of a facility, and the vast majority of our diesel customers are, if they're heavy trucks, you're talking about box trucks. You're talking about those trucks that make the last mile inventory delivery to a store. So again, to say this is a truck stop really mischaracterizes what it is. So thank you very much. I'll reserve any time I have left for rebuttal.
Thank you. Sure, there we go. Any questions for the applicant from my fellow commissioners?
Thank you for that explanation because I was a bit confused myself. But I am very appreciative that the city does make sure that we have those stipulations in there to make sure we're looking out for the citizens of Fairburn. So you answered a couple of my questions in what you were saying just now. There are 14 pumps up front and just 5 diesel pumps
In the back.
in the back, okay. And so there's an entrance off Howell Street or Howell Avenue where the trucks can just come in from that entrance there. Okay, and I know that it was mentioned that this isn't considered a destination, so you don't think that it'll increase the amount of traffic. I disagree with that. I live in the area, so if there's going to be an additional location for large trucks, because we're already inundated with trucks in the area, and that's a really small road that you're on, Fairburn Industrial Boulevard. So there's an intersection that I'm really concerned about, which is Highway 29 onto Fairburn Industrial, or I don't know if it's called Verlin B. Smith at that point, but the loop. So are you all saying that you don't foresee any increased traffic there? Because it's already really bad with the number of trucks that come through when someone needs to turn at that loop. It's extremely dangerous. So, and I know that we said you didn't have to have an traffic impact study, but I think that we should, because I would like to see an estimation of what type of increase we would have in traffic there.
So, Commissioner, I would never stand here and tell you that a new development is not going to generate more traffic. You know, if you have a new facility, people are going to come. But what we're saying is that the nature of our business is to capture pass-by traffic. Again, going to and coming from the interstate, making those trips that they're going to make anyway. And, oh, by the way, there's a racetrack, I'm going to stop because I want to get this gas before I get on the highway. That will, number one, cut down tremendously on potential trip generation at this location. But then in addition to that, we're not, when we say we're not generating a lot of problematic traffic, I mean heavy truck traffic. We really don't expect to see a lot of 18-wheelers at this location. You may see, again, the box trucks. You may see heavy trucks that are drawing trailers behind them, which is why we separated those pumps to the back anyway, because those kinds of trucks have a hard time maneuvering in the front of the building, but they could make that turn with the trailer off the back. And so really it is a vehicular circulation issue as much as anything else. Otherwise, we could just put them in the front with all the rest of them.
Okay.
Commissioner Smith, so even though it's even though you're saying it's not a truck stop, you can assure me that you guys not going to have overnight parking?
Absolutely. That's in the regulations.
So in the back of the racetrack, are y'all going to have space back there for truckers to be able to park and stop a little while?
Yes, very quickly.
Hey, good evening. I'm Alan Bell with the Racetrack, 200 Galleria Parkway, Atlanta, Georgia, 30339. Can you repeat the question? I know it was about the
In the
truck
back of the
circulation.
racetrack, where you said the four spaces or something like that, 4 or 5 spaces?
Yeah, there's 4 fueling positions in the back.
But will you have space for an 18-wheeler to park for a little rest or 15, 20 minutes or something, to be able to park his vehicle?
So we'll have it where they can pull through and kind of get out of the way, so another vehicle can come in and fill up. But we don't have any designated spaces for any overnight parking or any parking spaces in general. We do let them pull forward so they can come in, use the restroom, get a snack, and get on their way.
All right. Do you guys have any of these stores built in the metro area anywhere?
The closest one that's similar to this is in Ackworth.
Ackworth?
It's at Highway 41 and 92.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners?
Nope, I just want to make sure I'm on the record saying that I think that the traffic is going to increase and it's going to be a problem at Highway 29 intersection, the loop, which is already bad right now. So, like I said, I live in the area, and I know I speak for residents who live near me that we're already, it's bad already. So I just want to make sure that it's on the record that I really think that some sort of study, if all could be done, that maybe we can do something like that.
All right. Okay. If there are no additional questions, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
I will now call this item to a vote. Do I have a motion?
Well, I can motion. Let me put the glasses on. Okay.
Commissioner Echols, I make a motion to approve parcel ID 09F as in Frank, 0901004800751.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Parker, second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay.
Temporarily oppose unless, I was told
So would
regarding traffic
she has to
study.
vote nay, right? So
Nay.
her vote is nay.
Okay.
3-1, the motion does carry. Thank you. There we go.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Wow, that was, all right, new business. That felt like new business, but now we're actually on new business. All right, concept plat, the applicant, Strack, staff. I will now ask you to present the staff analysis.
Hello again. So we will be reviewing the Strike office rebuild third floor. This is located at 105 Laser Industrial Court. Completed application has been submitted for your review. The site is located on the south corner of the intersection of Laser Industrial Court and Fairburn Industrial Boulevard. The site is currently zone M2, which is heavy industrial, and is located in the Georgia Highway 74 overlay district. The site is approximately 1.10 acres. This is the site today. They have included an accurate, up-to-date, and certified survey for your review. The concept plan includes all buildings, structures, driveways, parking facilities, walkways, landscaping, buffer easements, utilities, and other required infrastructure. The site will have ingress and egress along Laser Industrial Court. The concept plan meets the setback and parking requirements of M2 and the Highway 74 Overlay District design standards. The applicant is proposing a 13,959 square foot, 3-story office building. The building will consist of various earth tones of masonry with various neutral tone metal accents and a flat roof. And I'll just flip through some elevations. Staff recommends approval of the concept plan with the condition that any significant modifications as determined by staff to the approved concept plan would necessitate a further review by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you again.
All right, I think this one's been here before. Thank you. I'll now entertain questions for staff.
I was going to say the same thing, Chairman. This has been before us before, but is there, I see here there's a change that we've moved from a 2-story to a 3-story?
Absolutely.
That's the difference? Okay.
Any questions for staff? Any additional questions? If there's any comments, thank you, staff, from the applicant, if they want to address us again.
Good evening. My name is Clay Wallace. I'm with Jefferson Brown Architecture in Peachtree City. This building may look familiar to you. Strack is growing. They have over 600 employees now. and have been in business over 75 years. So they came to us with a two-story concept, and then later on realized we need more space. They want to stay in Fairburn here, so they were trying to expand. So we just went up another floor.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Smith,
Yeah, questions for the applicant? Yeah.
do you know how many jobs would it bring for the citizen of Fairburn?
I'm sorry, Seth.
How many jobs would it bring for the citizen?
They have over 600 employees, so they have throughout the southeast, basically.
Yeah.
So, but everything is based, all STRAC is based here in the city of Fairburn. On the Laser Industrial Court, they have all their headquarters.
Is this building going to be as beautiful as this picture is?
Exactly like it.
All right, okay. Other questions for the applicant? Okay.
Well, I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Comment?
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful the first time around. Good job, and we look forward to that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now it's time to bring this to a vote. Do I have a motion?
Ms. Parker?
Anybody want to bring a motion? Don't be scared.
Okay, I motion. Commissioner James, I motion that we approve concept plan, parcel ID 09F090100480868 for STRAC.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Echols, second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Oh, jeez, man. Our last new business item, rezoning applicant Temple of Prayer. I'd like now the staff to present us their staff analysis.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I will try to be very efficient with the request. We have a rezoning request that started quite a while ago. The applicant submitted a request to staff for a sign permit, and after doing some analysis, we realized that all of their properties were zoned for residential use. Of course, it's not being used for residential use, it's being used as a place of worship. Because we have to make sure that we're consistent in our process, we then began the analysis piece of looking at the comprehensive plan, looking at the surrounding area, looking at how other uses had been zoned, and realized that there was a missing gap. And so we encouraged the applicant to then submit a rezoning application so that they could, in the future, if they decide to move forward with a sign, have that zoning that permits that particular signage. Of course, their future land use zoning designation is town center mixed use, and one of the zoning districts that's encouraged is office and institutional. And of course, the civic use is one of those uses that's listed. This is the same zoning designation that Landmark has and a lot of other properties within that area. So it's very consistent. We did encourage the applicant to make sure to take a comprehensive approach. Of course, we don't like folks to just, if you have submit an application, it's not just one parcel. We encourage them to look, or we encourage the church to look at all of the parcel because they have quite a few areas there. And what we also realized the benefit to the city was that it created a buffer between the industrial uses that are kind of growing. And so this is appropriate for the future land use designation. Zoning district is consistent with other similar uses, and after looking at all of the standards for rezoning, we decided to recommend approval. The applicant is here and can answer any questions that you might have.
First, we'll entertain questions for staff from any of the commissioners.
So for clarification, again, staff suggested that the applicant come back and apply for the rezoning permit because they are correct in the way it's zoned in the use, but in case in the future they want to use it for a little differently, You
Well,
wanna
it's
make sure
really the
they're-
signage that was the biggest issue.
Just the signage.
We can't, as staff, approve signage that was different, because residential zoning has a different signage regulation than office and institutional zoning. So the only way that they could move forward with that request was to rezone the property and to submit that request. Occasionally, we do get applicants that come in because they have a commercial business or something like that they want to do. I believe this might be the first one that's sort of connected to signage. But luckily, in this instance, because the future land use designation called for town center mixed use, and the use is listed in our comprehensive plan, the request was consistent with what is in our comprehensive plan, so.
So it's existing R3 and R4 / place of worship.
Well, it's R3 and R4.
Right.
And they're requesting to rezone all of those parcels to office and institutional.
Okay. Is not place of worship called out in some of the R districts or not? Just refresh.
They are, it's permitted. Mhm.
Okay, so it is permitted, but the signage piece is the holdup here?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that's,
And I try to be transparent with you from the start of the application till we get here. If you ask, hey, why are they requesting it? If they have a use, they don't really plan to do much, it's the signage.
how many parcels is it, does this rezoning impact?
It's 6 parcels.
Okay, so it's 6 unique R3,
The majority of the parcels are R4, it's just one that is
so
actually,
it's 6 unique, 5 R4, 1 R3 parcels that people in theory could build a single-family dwelling, but they're going to be rezoning all those
to office and
to the
institutional.
most appropriate for what's exactly there, right? Was this just sort of grandfathered in, like this happened long ago and nobody addressed it? Or was it just really the sign issue that brought it to the forefront,
I
right?
think years ago, we looked at some of the old, for quite a while, it
Okay.
has been residential, and because the use is permitted, it probably wasn't a big deal at that point, but as you kind of look at that corridor and you see that more office buildings are come, there's a daycare in the area, there are other places of worship, there's a beauty salon, a small commercial area, and they all have that same office and institutional zoning designation. So it did make sense that at some point, we would get a request to rezone it consistent. And luckily, that town center mixed use, future land use designation does have a bit of flexibility. It does call for residential and office and institutional, but not necessarily that heavy C1, C2 commercial area, and all of the uses that are a part of that process, are a part of that zoning district.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Okay. Does the applicant want to address us at all? No? Okay. That sounds fine to me, right? Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, any questions from the commissioners for the applicant himself at all? If not? No questions?
Thank you.
Great job, awesome. So now I will call this to a vote. Do I have a motion?
Commissioner James, I motion that we approve the rezoning application for, it is Temple of Prayer, parcel ID number 09F101000520370.
Commissioner Smith, second.
And I think there's actually 6 parcels, but do we need to call them out individually or no for the record?
Valerie, is it okay if they do a motion to approve all of the parcels listed on the agenda?
Yes, you can just say as stated on the agenda so that you don't have,
Okay.
You want to redo the motion?
Okay, need to redo the full motion?
Go for it.
yes.
Okay, all righty, let's go again. Okay, Commissioner James, again, I am putting forth that we approve rezoning application for Temple of Prayer as is stated on the agenda. Parcel ID here that I'm going to read from the agenda tonight is parcel ID 09F101000520370.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Smith, second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
What about the other parcels?
Oh, she said as stated.
She said as stated.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we want to make sure for the record. Right. And we've now got a request on the agenda, sorry, to To the applicant Safeguard Landfill Management, an applicant requests to continue the item until the May meeting.
That's correct, yes.
Is that correct? Do we need to vote on that at all or anything?
Motion to approve the item being continued to the
Okay.
next meeting.
Do I have a motion to approve that the Safeguard Landfill Management's request to continue the item until May? Do I have an motion?
Commissioner Echols, I make a motion to approve the text amendment for applicant's request to continue the item until the May meeting.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second, Commissioner James.
All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay. The motion passes. All right,
What
awesome.
about the use permit?
Yeah, I guess we have to do the use permit as well. As well, that was the text amendment, so there's a use permit as well listed under Safeguard Landfill Management. The applicant has made a request to continue the item until the May meeting. Do I have a motion?
Commissioner Echols, I make a motion to approve the use permit for applicant's request to continue the item until the May meeting.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Parker, second.
I've got a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Okay. The motion passes. All right. Any comments, any further, do we now open it up for commissioner comments?
You certainly can. The next item on the agenda is
Adjournment.
adjournment.
Okay. I'll open it now for any comments from the commissioners, starting from my right to left. Any comments?
I would just like to say, even though we probably don't really want another gas station in the area, I will have to say that I think it's going to benefit us a little bit because it's going to relieve some traffic from the other side of Sonoya. So, looking at it as a positive in that way.
All right. Any comments?
Yep, I do want to, my comment isn't in reference to tonight's meeting, it's in reference to a meeting we all attended, a conference last week. Several of us attended, the Georgia Planning Association. It was really good. It was my first time attending. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of amazing information. I learned a lot, and it was just really good to be a part of that and see how all that works. So thanks again for the invitation from staff.
No comments from me? Any comments?
No comment.
Commissioner Echols, I ditto that comment that the meeting we had last Wednesday was very good information, and I appreciate the opportunity of having to be able to go. Because excellent classes, they were very good.
Fantastic. All right, now that that's out of the way, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Echols, I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
All right, do I have a second?
Commissioner Parker, second.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you all for coming out.